Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Prism Title here in Brookfield. We are just west of our office in Wauwatosa. Today we're going to hear from JJ a little bit about, well, what is title work, right? We all just kind of give it to title to take care of, and then, it's done when we get to closing. So a little bit more about what title is, but if you guys like what you're seeing, go to our website, scvproperties.com. Also take a look at the end of this video. There'll be some other video clips that you guys can take a look at. But without further ado, my name is Caden Stanley, this is Melanie Eden, and we'll jump right into questioning JJ.
Hi everybody, my name is JJ Young with Prism Title. A quick background about me. I started in the business about 20 years ago outside of college. I was just looking for a job, hard to find a job, and fell into title. Had no idea what title was, didn't know it was a thing, anything like that. So started entry level. Fast forward about 15 years, I had an opportunity where to become part ownership of Prism Title. So worked my way up gradually over the years and made some great connections, especially with Melanie Eden. So we've been in business for about almost 7 years, and just love what we do. Here to help in any way we can.
What exactly does title do as part of the real estate transaction? I get a question all the time, like, why do I need title?
Yeah, title insurance is really important because it ensures that you are purchasing a property free and clear of any liens, meaning any mortgages, judgments, special assessments, anything like that. So should something come up, you have a water bill that's like $2,000 after you buy a house, you're going to be like, what's going on? So you're going to contact me to figure out what is going on. Or in addition to special assessments, there is a special assessment for sidewalk repair for $300. You had no knowledge. Oh, well, I found it or I didn't find it. Then it's my responsibility. So that's why you get insurance, to protect yourself for any liens or special assessments that come up against your property.
How do you determine the cost to close a transaction? Because buyers say, hey, what's the cost to close a transaction? I'm an agent. I sell properties. Right. I don't do title.
Yeah, yep. Actually, very good question. In Wisconsin, it's mandated by the state based on the rates that are filed by the underwriters. The underwriters, they all file the same rates as to be a non-compete. So the owner's policy premium is dictated by these filed rates based on the sale price of the property. Traditionally, that's something that the seller provides to the buyer and is in charge of paying for and providing that to them. But it's based on rates filed by the state.
Does anybody ever close a property without title?
Very rarely. In the rare circumstances that they do, is typically a sale between family, and where mom is or a daughter is buying a house from mom, and they trust each other. The daughter's been in the property all of her life. If it is a finance transaction, meaning that there's a lender involved, if they're okay without an owner's policy, which typically they are, you can opt out of it. So it's technically optional, but I really only see it when it comes to sale between family.
If you were to figure out a price per $100,000, just as agents, so when someone says, what does title cost? Roughly per $100,000?
I believe $3.
$3 per thousand?
Right,
okay.
Right. So there is a chart for anybody who is interested. My website, in addition to multiple companies' websites, will have title calculators where you just punch in the price and it will let you know what the insurance policy is. The one good thing that's also not common knowledge when it comes to title insurance is when you buy a house, if you keep the final title policy that you are sent from the title company and you provide it when you sell the property, you can save yourself 15% of the owner's policy rate, which can be a couple $100. So depending, but definitely worth keeping.
Oh, awesome. Could you email me that information? Then we can put it on our podcast for people to look at it without going to your website?
Of course. Yeah, okay. No, of course.
We need a story. What is the most unusual closing transaction you've ever been involved in, and what did you learn from it?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of multiple. Actually, we had one a few years ago prior to COVID, and our seller, there was a husband and wife seller, and the seller, what the husband was in China, I believe, and so before he left, he didn't have a power of attorney executed to close this transaction while he was away. So we contacted an attorney, and an attorney in a specific circumstance can authenticate a signature remotely. And so he provided the ID as requested, and the attorney was able to authenticate the signature. So an attorney has the ability to do that where a normal notary will not. What's also interesting about now versus then, and COVID sped up this process tremendously, is you can close on a seller side completely online with an online notary. Essentially what happens is I'll upload the closing documents to the website, notarize.com. And then at the seller's leisure, and they're usually open from 6 a.m. to like 7 p.m. Every day of the week except for Sundays. So the seller can log in at home, after dinner, whatever, and sign the docs with an online notary. They notify me when the docs are done, and then I just get everything printed and recorded. So that was something that we wouldn't been able to do with our customer in China that we could do today.
So with there being so many title companies out there nowadays, I know one big reason that we prefer Prism is because you guys just get it done, right? But what are some of the benefits that Prism Title is able to offer over such, other companies in the business?
Good question. Thanks for asking. Actually, huge customer service. Not necessarily being regulated to the 8 to 5 or 8:30 to 5:30 or whatever work schedule. In real estate, things can be busy. You might need a quick call. You're at a showing. You just had a question in regards to pricing or closing or whatever. I am not going to ignore you after hours. Because I know that everything is fluid in real estate. It can be a 24/7 operation. So customer service and just developing those relationships over the years.
Do the majority of your referrals for title work, they come from other agents, I'm assuming?
Yeah, thank you. Actually, I don't know if I'm like a traditional sales rep in the fact that I'm not going out on the road meeting people to solicit business. How I get my business is I'll get an agent or even an investor they like what's going on, they like the process of what happens, and then they refer to their colleagues, to their lenders, to just random investors. So over time, I've been fortunate enough to accumulate a nice book of business through that method, and I hold myself accountable with my customers as we're fighting the fight to get things to the closing table.
But we're still your favorite agents,
Absolutely.
right? Right.
Yes, ma'am.
Appreciate that.
100%.
All right.
When it comes to title, when and who gets to choose title? Because I know there's certain situations where the buyer side doesn't get to choose to use a title company.
Yeah, and that's also a really good question too for also new agents, because like for me, I'm always humbled when especially a newer agent wants me to work on their transaction where they're representing the buyer, but the buyer is using a lender, and the lender usually chooses title, and so it is definitely the borrower's choice or the buyer's choice to use whomever you want. So as an agent, if you prefer to use me, that's great. What we would do is we just contact the lender like, hey, we're the preferred company for our realtor. I'd be happy to help. And then they'll either accept that or they'll use their own people that they have a prior relationship with. On a seller side, it's 100% dictated by the agent. So whoever they're comfortable with using.
And I know typically when involving a cash transaction, normally you use seller side title.
The 100, yes, sir. So when there's a cash transaction, there is no quote unquote buyer's title company because the buyer's title company insures the lender. So when there's not a lender, there's not a need for a title company on the buyer side. So it's insured through the owner's policy, which is provided through the offer to purchase for closing.
Awesome.
Any parting words of wisdom when it comes to title and real estate transactions?
Prior title. If you have prior title, that will save you could save you quite a bit of money when you're selling your house. Just listening to the agents and title company for the needs needed for closing, what you need for when you're selling a house. Typically, from my perspective, I only need you for obviously the signing and to order any mortgage payoffs that you have on the property. So other than that, we take it from here and ensure a smooth closing.
I think the most important thing that any seller needs to do is to stay on top of that mortgage payoff, because the
Yes.
people on the other end of that transaction don't care about getting you your mortgage payoff.
It's a challenge at times where it shouldn't be a challenge. It seems kind of obvious, like, hey, we're making a payoff, we want to pay you. All right, well, here's a statement. It's not, unfortunately, it's not always that easy. Some mortgage companies, I can get payoffs in a matter of minutes, but there are some that take a week or even plus. And there's really nothing you can do other than being on your game, have your loan number, contact info for the bank so that we can contact them as soon as possible to order the payoffs.
Got to pay attention to holidays, got to pay attention to weekends. Monday morning crack of dawn closings, bad idea.
Yeah.
Particularly when you're trying to get a payoff.
Yes, and then also closings after a holiday weekend. That first day can be a little bit crazy for sure.
Try to put a little cushion in there to make everybody's job easier.
Yes, because that can be a holdup, unfortunately, at times.
Right?
Awesome. Thank you very much, JJ. We appreciate it, and we will see you guys in our outro.
Thank you, Melanie and Kaden. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for watching our conversation with JJ Young about what is title and what it means to your transaction. We are real estate professionals spreading the knowledge of real estate around the world. Melanie Eden, Caden Stanley, SUV Properties. If you've liked what you've seen, go to our website, suvproperties.com. Email us your questions and let us help you make money in real estate.
See you guys next time.